about how you stuck your dick in crazy. This is Dancing While Human, a series where we talk about all of the pieces that make up our lives that aren't dancing and how they affect our jobs. Hopefully, this series will involve guest speakers who can shed some light on types of experiences that I don't have. One experience I do have, however, is dancing while mentally ill. You're the fifth guy tonight to drunkenly tell me how he'd kill to date me. And it's all I can do not to scream out loud, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't want to date me because I am crazy. Whether this is true or not, it is something I have internalized. You'd love the days I can't get out of bed until you realize that sex and cuddling were pretty much out too. You want to do visitation while I'm in the hospital? There's nothing sexy about nurses. Well, maybe except the one who looks like a linebacker in scrubs. Mental wards need bouncers too. You know how you like to make jokes about crazy cat ladies? Mine are support animals that let me know everything's okay, or if something's going down and I need to react. I've got years of experience telling me that I should trust them, and a whole nights that tells me that I shouldn't trust you. Many strippers and those who work in other parts of the sex industry deal with mental illness, and those who would shut us down like to say that it's the work that causes it. But while being in this profession may cause some emotional damage, much like any profession where you have to deal with a jackass public, we're talking about the egg here, not the chicken. A month prior to my naked debut, I was wearing a Santa hat and dress clothes on the bare concrete floor of a warehouse supply store that paid me so little that I couldn't afford to eat at the cafeteria. I was trying to finish a degree way beyond my intelligence. This was one of my 2 shitty jobs, and I wasn't feeling good that day. It was more than being Mrs. Claus and not being able to afford food, much less presents. I went outside for my break, and as I sat there, my reality shattered. My mind was about to make an acid trip out of my whole life. The light changed, the time changed, but most overwhelmingly, an ear-splitting voice from everywhere told me it was God, and I believed it. I went back inside, and it followed me there. Every label on every box suddenly had a meaning, and I absolutely had to decode it. It was vital. I threw up from the intensity, and I wound up going home. After I found my favorite manager and begged, because that store was literal hell. I went straight to the hospital. I've never been able to hold a normal job since then. I can't sit still very long, and I have lots of bad days where, despite total adherence to my medication regimen, I'm in my own little world, sometimes better, sometimes worse than the actual one. I may never have finished college or experienced adulthood off of disability. But as soon as I quit my old job, I remembered that I liked music and I liked being naked, and I started stripping. Thank God for stripping, y'all. Most places don't keep good track of their dancers. If you take a day, a week, or even a month off to pursue your dreams or redecorate your boobs, they barely notice. You pay your fees when you do show up, and you can turn dudes on with official permission. And if you have an emergency and need to leave early, you pay a little more money, usually, and off you go. Not all places are like this, but the one I danced at was, and it enabled me to work. If my mind started going, I hung in the dressing room a while, called someone, or talked to a friend about how I wanted to kill that guy at the stage or kiss that bouncer. And I could provide for myself, pay for my meds and my doctor's visits on 3 or 4 days of work, not 7. Let's hear it for stripping. I've met a lot of women doing this. In the dressing room, it's like discovering you all share a shitty hobby. You're borderline? I have bipolar. Oh my God, I have PTSD and anxiety. I suffer from depression and have ADHD. All of these women can support themselves and their families, often without college degrees, and they can do it happily and proudly. So the next time you end the night saying, "That stripper was crazy," maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was. Maybe she was crazier than you thought. But who went home with the money?